Hi, doctor. Are you currently seeing patients with shoulder pain? What about frozen shoulder? What if I could teach you a neurological treatment system in which you could literally take a person from frozen shoulder to a full range of motion in 2 visits? And this system is so powerful that we guarantee results in 2 visits, or we don't accept the patient for care. Hi, I'm Dr. Andy Barlow. I'm a board certified chiropractic neurologist. I also carry a fellowship in functional neurology, and every Wednesday night at 5 p.m., I'm giving a 1-hour seminar free of charge. I'm here to help you. I'm here to help your community. I'm here to help our profession go to the next level. I personally look forward to seeing you every Wednesday night. I want to completely change your life and change your community's life. And I can help you do that because I've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of doctors from Europe to Canada, all the way to New Zealand with these types of health issues, okay? So I look forward to seeing you Wednesday night at 5 p.m. Central on the webinar. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you on the internet.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Anthony with Edge on Regenerative Medicine Show. I am so excited that you are all here. I have a special guest named Dr. Brian Prax. I'm excited today because we're going to be talking about something that I would say 70% of people are talking about, but it's not being talked about on the internet. And what's great about this, we're going to be talking about reversing neuropathy. This book here is unbelievable. I recommend it. I have it here because it's close to my heart because I have many people in my family that struggle with neuropathy. And with what Dr. Prax put together here, this is life-changing. So I'm going to make sure that you all get your book at the end of this show. So I'm going to be talking to you about neuropathy, but we're going to be talking also a little bit about who is Dr. Brian Prax. Well, I'm going to give you guys some credentials. Who he is. Dr. Brian Prax is a natural healer. He graduated from the Life Chiropractic College West in 1996. And you got an edge on me. I graduated in 95. He's certified by the American Functional Neurology Institute and is certified chiropractic sports practitioner by the American Chiropractic Board of Sports and Physicians. He is the author of this book, Reversing Neuropathy, Making the Impossible Possible. So thank you so much, Dr. Prax, for being here on our show.
Thanks for having me. This is an honor and a privilege.
Oh, I'm excited because I know a lot of people are struggling out there. And guess what? This show is about helping people that are having a struggle in their life, whether it be their body, whether it be their mentality. They kind of go together. But mostly, especially today, reversing neuropathy. We know that a lot of doctors out there say that you can't reverse it. So if you wouldn't mind maybe just telling us your story. And I also want to talk about on the O Doctor, because I love page number 9, which talks about it. However you want to start, maybe tell your story, or we can go right into O Doctor, because the O Doctor kind of blows it up, but you guide us on that.
I think that's a perfect place to start. I opened the book with a joke. I think it's always good to get, to grab some attention, and humor is always good, but it is true. And I guess I can paraphrase the story, but I say a lot of times when I'm out at an event or a barbecue or something like that, maybe my wife or my friend or whoever I'm with might introduce me to someone new and say, "Hi, John, this is my friend, Dr. Brian Prax." And the person will say, "Oh, you're a doctor. Great. What kind of doctor are you?" And I say, "I am an O doctor." And they look confused, like, "O doctor? What kind of doctor is that?" They're thinking orthopedist, osteopath. They're thinking one of these doctors. And I say, "Well, I'm a chiropractor." And they go, "Oh."
Is that why
That's the opening of the story. So they go, "Oh," as if, "Oh, okay, you're not a real doctor. You're one of those doctors." So I opened the book with that, and then, well, of course, I continue onward with, what's the difference between a chiropractor, more of a natural alternative sort of practitioner, and what they call a real doctor. That would be a
Right.
medical doctor, a doctor of osteopathy. And then, of course, I continue onward with how the Journal of the American Medical Association, right, the AMA, Johns Hopkins, and other authors have actually found and stated that medicine is the third leading cause of death in America. The third leading cause of death in America is medicine. And several studies even said that it's the first leading cause. And I go in to say, it's like, wow, well, if that's what it's like being a real doctor, or we get this, oh, you're one of those, I'm going to go to my regular doctor. So I'm the irregular doctor, right? So if that's what it is to be a real doctor or a regular doctor, I say, I don't really want any part of that. I don't really think a method of healing should be a top 10, let alone a top 100 causes of death in America. So that's really kind of how I opened it up with the, oh, doctor story. So I just kind of get that up front right away. And I like people to think, as a chiropractor, just think of me more of as a natural healer, right? So we try and get that up front off the bat, and just clarify that.
It's funny. I was thinking in my head, what would I say? I always like to put myself in someone else's shoes. So I'm thinking, if somebody said, well, what kind of doctor are you? I'd be like, I'm a healer of the entire body doctor. And that, because it changes everything a little. I think mentally we have to not worry, but think about the type of keywords that we use with people, because their computers focus on keywords.
Yep.
And I think that if we can let people know that there's two types of doctors, and we're not bagging on any doctors, but you have one type of doctor that's going to be like, you know what, take these pills. And then after they stop wearing off, come back, I'll give you a higher dose.
That's right.
That's one doctor. Then you have the other doctor that says, all right, we're going to have to do surgery. And that's okay, because if someone's in an accident or something happens, that's awesome. But the doctors that I kind of shun away from, at least for myself, are doctors that want to give me a patch, meaning pills and more pills. And then when it wears off, instead of realizing that maybe I should be looking at what I'm eating. Maybe there's something, maybe I'm eating poison, and we don't realize that all foods are not created equal. I mean, we have people that love that dopamine feel of McDonald's, and they have to have it. And if they don't have it, they get angry and frustrated, not realizing that frustration is killing their bodies. But I wanted to talk to you about something. I have this written down here because I was really kind of premeditating on a lot of stuff on your book. We have medical doctors, we have neurologists, we have podiatrists, and other experts. And a lot of them say that reversing neuropathy is impossible. Like literally it's impossible. But what would you say about that? Because a lot of doctors say you're just going to have to take these pills, or we're going to have to cut your leg off.
That's right. Yeah, I hear that often. In fact, some of the most common comments I'll get is, well, my doctor said I have neuropathy and I just need to learn to get used to it. Or my doctor said I have neuropathy, there's nothing that can be done. You're getting older. I mean, things like that is what patients hear. And I actually just look them right in the face and I say, you know what, that's what your doctor said? And they said, yeah. I said, well, they're right. And they go, oh, okay, well, why am I here? And I said, you're right. If your approach is to treat the symptoms, which is what your reactive doctors are like. So that's what I wanted to kind of segue from. There's two types of doctors. There's those who are reactive, meaning, oh, you got an owie, take something to make you feel better, versus the proactive doctors. And to quote a very good friend of mine who is a medical doctor, this is going to sound weird, but I'm going to quote an MD. And he wrote in the foreword, his name is Dr. Zach Bush, very smart man, triple board certified as a medical doctor, but an out-of-the-box thinker. Mark, you got to get him on your show. He's phenomenal.
I'm on it right after this.
Yeah. He goes, Brian, you can never drug yourself healthier. I said, wow, that's amazing, because I've also done that discovery too. And I've found that as I interview people, and I've taken care of hundreds, if not thousands, of neuropathy patients, And oftentimes I see these people are on 3, 4, 6, 10, 15, 20 different medications. And I've done a I guess you could say an unblinded single study, nothing, just anecdotal, but I find those people who take the most medications are actually the sickest people that I've ever come across. And funny enough, those who take the fewest generally are the healthiest. So when we go to doctors saying it's impossible, and then all of a sudden you have some chiropractor saying, oh yeah, reversing neuropathy, making the impossible possible. How can you do this? I mean, over here at the University of Virginia, we got Johns Hopkins over here. We got a lot of smart people over here. They're saying there's nothing that can be done. How can you do that? And right there in I think it's chapter 5, I say, I can't. I said, your doctor and myself, we don't have any idea how to grow a nerve. I don't know how to, scientists don't even know how to grow a blade of grass. But the good news is that your body knows how to heal it. This is given to us by God, by nature, survival of the fittest, call it whatever you want. I don't want to, get into, offend anybody, but we have the ability to self-heal, really, just like this plant does, right? And if the plant doesn't get water or not enough sun or too much sun or whatever the case is, as long as it isn't dead, you give the plant what it needs, you get out of the way and you let nature take over. That's really what was read in the book. Get the book. I would encourage you to get the book, but you'll see this threaded throughout the whole thing. The message just keeps coming back. The body does the healing, not the doctor. And the one thing that I'll leave you with is that you'll never be able to drug yourself healthy. Yes, you can take gabapentin, Lyrica, Neurontin, all these different things, and yes, that can help you to feel better, but those are never going to heal you. So what we try and teach patients is, rather than just getting you to feel better, why don't we work on getting you to heal better? And that distinction, I think, is what allows me to say making the impossible possible, because it is possible. And the truth is that if one human being did it, like cross the 4-minute mile barrier, if one person can do it, that means it's possible. Does that mean we can get everybody healed? No. But is it possible? Yes. That's how I approach it.
I love it. And to segue off with what you're saying, a lot of people don't realize that the number one, before we even get into this, the number one thing that needs to change is what's coming in here. If you're already saying it's not going to work, guys, it's not going to work, don't even get the book.
Yep.
Once this changes, everything changes. I'm a reader of the Bible and stuff like that. And I love what it says, what a man thinks is what he becomes.
Oh, nice philosophy.
And words are powerful. Like, they're so powerful. Like, this is so awesome. And this goes in with reversing neuropathy, everyone. If you were to get an apple, you cut it down the middle, you put each apple, a slice, half and half, in a jar, and you say to one, you speak to the apple, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, you're no good, you're not going to get healed. And then you put the cover over it, you put it in another room, you get the other one, and you speak good about it. I'm going to get healed. I'm going to reverse this neuropathy. And then you speak good on that, and you put the jar on there, and you put another room, you come back to it a week later, you bring them both out. You'll notice the one that you spoke life to is the one that's not as old looking.
That's
like
amazing.
Brand new. But the other one that you spoke death to looks like it's rotting. And that's how our bodies are. We were not only, of course, spoken into existence, but when we speak life to our body, and then we read reversing neuropathy and also looking at how do we do that, things start to change, but it starts with us. I got a question from somebody, so just right now, and the question was, what are the top 3 things, would you say, doctor, that all neuropath patients need to be aware of if they're going to attempt to reverse neuropathy?
Yeah, I can definitely.
Their neuropathy.
Number one. Well, I like what you said. I'll call this number half. But and you're getting this from the Bible. I also like to quote Henry Ford, who said, "If you think you can or think you can't, you're right." So thoughts are really, really important. And if I have somebody coming in with all sorts of negativity, I don't, my husband brought me in here, I don't think there's anything. If I can't change their mind, I probably can't change their nerves either. But in answering your question, the number one most important thing is figuring out a cause. Figuring out a cause. We got to know where we're aiming our arrow, right? And we got to have a target. So there's over 100 known causes of neuropathy. And if it's a pinched nerve coming out your lower back, well, we got to go that direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
If it's diabetes, which is the number one cause of neuropathy, well, we're going to probably have to take that direction. A lot of times it's a combination of different causes. Like I was interviewing and examining a woman earlier today. She took a fall about 18 months ago out of bed, and she landed right on her bum, just like that. And ever since then, she's had left-sided lower back pain traveling down her leg. Well, that's probably some sort of pinched nerve, like sciatica or something like that. But when I was interviewing her, I found that she checked the box that said diabetes. I'm like, So we have two different things going on. So I would say the numero uno, most important thing is figuring out what are we working with here. So finding the cause, doing the best we can to find the cause. Number two would be to ensure, just like this plant right here, to ensure that you have optimal circulation down to those nerves. If there's no oxygen, if there's no circulation, that means there's no oxygen or less oxygen. There's little to no glucose, which is totally necessary, and minerals and magnesium and B vitamins and things like that. If you don't have optimal circulation, that would be like feeding this thing fertilizer and giving it plenty of sun, but not feeding it water. Forget about it. There's no way it's going to work. So circulation, I would say, is paramount, or at least second after finding out the cause. And then I would say number three is optimal nerve stimulation. And people freak out on this. They're like, oh, you can't do that. But man, you can stimulate so many different things. A classic example is exercise. So whether you're on a running regimen or you're lifting weights, we'll use lifting weights. If you just start out and you got little arms like what I have, if you keep doing it, you keep stimulating it over time by stimulating the muscles, amazingly, the efficient body will say, whoa, we're using these biceps more. So it's going to respond by making those muscles more efficient. And it's going to respond by making those muscles stronger and bigger because it's responding to what you're giving it. Well, it turns out that nerves can be stimulated as well. There's a lot of different ways of doing it. We talk about it in the book, but you need to know how to stimulate those nerves properly so that you can utilize what's already happening in the body, and you can accelerate the healing and literally the growing of those nerves, called neurogenesis. So those would be the top three, I would say, Mark.
Well, I love that. Do you have a story that you can share with us of somebody that was maybe on 6 or 7 pills and they came to you and they're just like, I need help. I'll do whatever it takes. I'm sure those are the ones that you're looking for. I'll do whatever it takes.
I think this is going to be, this is going to speak to the number one thing that I said. You've got to find the cause of the problem. So I have a YouTube channel that has something like 300 videos on there, and it's content about everything from nutrition, anything you can possibly think of to help with neuropathy. Probably my second most common video was most watched video was the one I entitled. I think the title is key. I titled it, "I Cured Neuropathy Without Even Seeing the Patient," and that gets a lot of clicks. Good titling, right? They're like, whoa, I want to know that. I want free cure of my neuropathy as well. So patient comes in, I'm asking her questions, we're taking a history, how long, how often, all that stuff. And long story short, I get to the end, I'm pondering it, I'm thinking it, I'm looking at her medications, I'm looking at all these things. I meet with her after having done a detailed exam, a neuro exam. We take some x-rays, we try to figure out the cause. I definitely ponder it. I'm thinking about it. She comes back the second visit. And I said, you have neuropathy. you have a 60% loss of those nerves, and that's explaining the pain, the burning, and the cramping that you're getting into your legs.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to accept you into my program. What? Why not? I said, I want you to do this. I said, I have a strong suspicion that your statin medications, those medications that you take for lowering cholesterol, I said, I really think that your statin medications are the cause of your neuropathy. I said, I want you to go back to your medical doctor and ask him if he would put you on a statin holiday. It basically means they take them off the statins for 30 days and
Statin
just see
holiday, I love
see
it.
what happens, right? Most docs are fine with that. It's 30 days off is not a big thing. So I hadn't heard from her. It was 3 weeks later. I said, I should probably just call. So I called her and checked in, and I said, hello, Dr. Prax. I'm just calling and I just wanted to check in. How are you doing? She's like, you cured it. I hadn't seen her other than those 2 visits. I said, go check. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I followed your advice. I went back to my doctor and he did put me on a statin holiday. She goes, within 1 week, within days, my feet started feeling better. My cramping started reducing. She said, it's 2-3 weeks later, 100% better. It was the statin. You were right. So that's probably my best scenario right there.
That's,
You've got to find the cause of the problem. And sometimes you don't need a full-on or a reversing neuropathy program. Sometimes you have to take something away rather than adding things.
what, okay, so I need to ask you this. So as a doctor, why would a doctor prescribe something that's really not helping them? I mean, and I'm trying not to be mean here. I see this a lot.
Yeah.
And these people are just falling apart. I mean, I have a family member real close to me, just on all these pills. And
Yep.
sometimes they're real stubborn. They don't want to get off until it's too late, then they'll listen. But why would something be given if it's really not working? Do they actually know that, or is it they're just trained that this is going to help because they know that it'll help for a little bit and then you got to give something stronger? So I don't know. How would you answer something like that?
Definitely can answer that. Doctors mostly treat symptoms. Now, having said that, they'll also take labs and they'll work objectively as well. So they have a sort of a logarithm, right? Oh, they run a whole bunch of labs. They say, oh, you have high blood pressure. They're supposed to say you really ought to get out and exercise. Here's an exercise program. Let's give you some food regimen that would lower that. But that's too hard for people. That's too inconvenient to eat healthy and change your lifestyle. So most doctors say, well, you have high blood pressure, so we're going to give you this medication that's going to bring it down. They've done the research on it. It literally will bring it down. So the patient looks better on a lab report. On the cholesterol thing, they run a blood lab. They say, oh, flag, oh, you have high cholesterol. Our research indicates that high cholesterol leads to an increased risk of heart disease, stroke, and things like that. And that's a #1 cause of death in America. Of course, they're not putting in medicine, but we'll go with that. And they say, whoa, we really want to reduce your risk of dying. So I'm going to put you on this medication. And this is a simvastatin, which is known to bring your cholesterol down. Now, all medications, including aspirin, have a long list of side effects. And people respond differently. Some people have seemingly no side effects, or at least none detectable, and other people have a laundry list of side effects. Every person is different. So they would prescribe based on a lab finding and what they're taught in school, where we want to get people within these lab ranges. And then they'll prescribe to essentially treat symptoms, whether it's pain or inability to sleep, digestive issues, whatever they want, bring a fever down. They're trying to get people to feel better. So that's really their approach. There's probably hundreds of thousands of people taking these statin medications and seemingly fine. Sure, they're damaging their liver and possibly causing long-term liver damage, but we'll deal with that later. You look good on paper, your cholesterol's now in a normal range.
Wow. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. It's I don't know. I'm not trying to be rude, but I feel like if we just step back and think of our kind of use common sense, okay, this might help me for a while, but why do I want to use a Band-Aid Just put it on there when I can go look for the root. And that's what I like about what you do is you're not so quick just to take somebody, and I love that. And you're like, let's look at the root where it's coming from. Okay, your shoulder hurts. Just because your shoulder hurts doesn't mean that's where the root's at. It could be maybe in the knee, lower back. We don't know. And that's why it's good to find a doctor like yourself that is willing to look for the root and not just to patch it up and send you along and then have you come back a few months later because something else is now causing something else and something else. I just had another question here. Again, it's funny when I first saw your book, I saw it at a friend of mine at his office, and of course it was just right there. So right in front of me, I was like, okay, I got to check that out. And then knowing that I have family members that struggle with this, other than your book, where else can a person who's basically suffering from neuropathy go to learn more strategies and techniques and tips?
Good. So one of the things that I've done for years is really I just started out for my own patients using the platform YouTube. And I'm like, wow, you know what? I've taught so many different times in so many different ways to so many different patients about whole body vibration. Why don't I actually flip up my smart screen here or my smartphone here and just like video this thing, and I can duplicate myself. So honestly, it kind of started out as, how can I clone myself? If I keep telling the same message, I could tell a patient, hey, I want you to learn more about whole body vibration. I'm going to have my staff send you a link, and then you can learn more about it, where I go through the science and all that. Instead of me standing there explaining this 20 different times in a day, I send it to a link. So my YouTube channel, it's really easy. You would just go to youtube.com, and then in the search bar, if you put in my name, Brian Prax DC, of course, that's the only channel there. You pop on that channel, and then you can get a whole bunch of different content on everything from nutrition to whole body vibration to tools that we actually use here in the office. So that's tools, tricks, tips, hacks, ways of speeding up the healing process. So yeah, I would say my YouTube channel is good. You mentioned the book several times. I guess I'm biased, but I think it's pretty good as well. And then a cool thing is we're actually putting together a store as well, where I actually will be sharing, and people would have the opportunity to purchase or learn more about products, from nutrition to different creams to tools that we find can help out with speeding that neuropathy process. So that's in the mix right now. We actually have the website. It's pretty cool. I was in disbelief, but my website gal said that reversingneuropathy.com was available. So we grabbed that. Crazy. So that's in the works right now, but that'll be a really good resource for people as well. So those are some things that I can think of where I would send people to.
Yeah, I'm surprised they even got reversingneuropathy.com, to be honest with you. I think the reason why you're able to get it because nobody believes it.
Yeah, my advantage. Advantage, Brian.
So it's a great tagline. And not only that, I was looking at with your book, and I just wanted to share just a few things. Some of what I love about this is on some of the titles, one of the things he's talking about, Dr. Prax, is getting back to the basic of wellness, talking about soft tissue therapies, which is huge, which helps a lot with, so if you're struggling with neuropathy, correct me if I'm wrong, but guys, everything's about that blood flow. Once that blood flow stops and it starts to get clogged up in certain areas, that's when we're like, okay, I'm feeling a pain. Something's not right. Everything's about that blood flow. So he talks on in chapter 11, soft tissue therapies. Another chapter I was looking at, I've got everything kind of marked here, brain-based therapy. Can you talk just a little bit about that brain-based therapy? Because I really like that chapter, and I wanted to see maybe you can maybe talk to our audience about that.
100%. So like you were talking about before, like with the shoulder, it hurts here. Well, it could be a shoulder problem. It might be arthritis, but it could be the blood flow to that area is irritated. It could be some nerves coming out of the neck, or believe it or not, on the opposite side of the brain that feels the shoulder, it could be that. So with neuropathy, we've got to stop looking at the blinking light. We've got to stop looking at the owie. My feet hurt. I know, but your feet are connected. Eventually, they connect all the way up to the brain. Those wires go all the way up to the brain. So yes, there may be a problem right at the feet. Probably is a problem at the feet. But those feet nerves connect to those peripheral nerves. Some of the most infamous ones would be the sciatic nerve. Okay. Then that sciatic nerve goes up into the lower back. There could be a problem there. And then it goes up through the mid back, through the neck, and it eventually ends up into the brain stem, which is just right above where the top of the cervical spine is. And then from the brain stem, it hits the cerebellum, our balance center. And then eventually it's going to make it all the way up to the parietal lobe, right up here in the brain. The parietal lobe feels stuff. It's our sensory cortex. Some people have problems in the parietal lobe itself, okay, from diet and other traumas and other problems here. They might have it in the cerebellum, the balance centers, the brainstem, the spinal cord, and they might have it in the sciatic, and they might have it all the way down in the foot. So you can't just treat the owie, you got to find it all the way up. So brain-based therapy, my mentor, Dr. Andy Barlow, taught me this acronym because he likes acronyms and I love them too. That's how I learned. So brain-based therapy is really going to be working on your ABCs. So this is how we remember it. It's working on alignment, so your posture centers, it's improving those. It's working on balance. And if somebody has neuropathy, if your brain can't detect, because your feet are so numb, if you can't detect where your feet are, that makes it really hard to balance. The #1 cause of death in senior citizens, Mark, do you know what that is? I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, I know. That's a good one. No English. Go ahead.
The #1 cause of death in senior citizens, this subgroup, is complications from falling. See, it's not heart attack, cancer, stroke, or even medicine. It's complications from falling. So one of the most grave symptoms or signs of neuropathy is, yeah, your feet are numb and they're hurting and they're keeping you up at night and they're burning and tingling and all that. But that will irritate and rob joy from your life. But what can kill you is falling over because you don't know where the heck you are. Yeah. So ABCs, alignment, this is brain-based therapy, alignment, balance, and then the third one is C for coordination. So we do specific therapies here in office, and we teach people how to do it at home to work on those three things while we're working on the feet and the owie down there.
That's beautiful. And as you were talking about this subject, which is huge, my friends, I want to let you know, I know he's talking about Dr. Prax saying, it could be connected to this and to this and to this and to this. And I know sometimes when we're hearing that, we're thinking, oh my goodness, the money, the stack, it's getting bigger. It's getting bigger. Now I got to pay for this and this and this and this and this.
Right.
It doesn't normally work that way. Normally the way it works is if all these things are connected, if you can focus on, if the doctor can help out with the root, I would say 97% of the time it heals everything else because it's connected. I just want to throw that out there because I could see people, oh my gosh, that sounds expensive.
Right. So we sort of package it up like the automakers do. If you were to go out and buy 4 different tires and then a spare tire and then a steering wheel and a transmission and 4 different seats in the car, if you were to individually itemize the cost of a car, it would be way, way expensive, right? Go ahead and get everything through your, O'Reilly or whatever. And you would find this car is going to be 20 times the expense of if you just packaged it all up in an automobile and you're like, listen, we're going to put it all together. We have this factory that churns them out pretty efficiently. We can sell it to you as a package, and it's going to be a lot more affordable that way. And so that's really the way we look at neuropathy. I'm not going to nickel and dime you and say, all right, for this brain-based therapy exercise, $50 for that. And for the infrared lights, it's going to improve circulation. That's $1,000 for that. And it's just going to keep adding it all up.
Isn't that pinky toe right there? It's going to be an extra $100.
That's right. Right. So yeah, you package it up because we need to take care of everything from the feet all the way up to the brain. So as I work on the brain, it's helping me with the feet. If we work on the lower back, it helps with the feet. And everything is tied toward allowing the body to heal itself as optimally as possible. That's really the message in the book.
Yeah, and I have one more for you. I love this one. I mean, this should be the title of our video. I mean, who's to blame for America's health crisis? I know we're not trying to give everything away, but maybe we can talk a little bit about that.
I really like that chapter because we're always trying to point the finger, right? Oh, it's Trump. No, it's Biden. No, it's this. It's the Democrats. It's the Republican. It's the environment. It's people. People. It's your fault. But really, who's to blame? As I talk about in the book, it's multiple, right? I mean, it is how the government looks at it. That is a factor. And I think we missed a huge opportunity, an opportunity with this coronavirus pandemic that we're going through. What'd we do? All we ended up really doing was cowering down and talking defense. We need to socially isolate. We need 6 feet, 10 if you're at the gym. We need to wear these masks, right? We got to wear these masks. We gotta wash your hands all the time, and all that stuff's really important. But that's defense. How do we protect ourselves and prevent anything from getting in? But you know what we really didn't talk about, Mark? Offense. I like to follow basketball, and I'm going to put a positive word in for our hometown here, the University of Virginia men's basketball. Last year, 2019, we were the champs. I mean, literally in the whole entire US of A, Charlottesville, Virginia had the champion men's basketball team. It was awesome. First time ever. And what we're known for, our coach is known for amazing defense. We have an amazing, it's called the pack line defense, literally like nobody can get through. Big, Michigan and big states like that, Texas and all that are known for scoring like over 100 points. We usually hold our teams down into the 60s. Like, I mean, just our approach is like, don't let them score. But we never would have won a single game. We never would have won the entire NCAA championship if that's all we did was play defense. I mean, yeah, eventually you got to put some balls in the basket on their side too. And so back to coronavirus, we missed a huge opportunity. All we're doing is our pack line defense. We're sticking our head in the dang sand like ostriches, and nobody's talking about offense. In the beginning, and even today, they're all excited about this vaccine or whatever, but they've always said, the only thing that's known that's going to help you is your own immune system. Man, what if we would have taken that opportunity back in February and said, listen, Americans, we're going to shut this country down. We're going to lock you down, and we're going to really come out tough after this. We're going to incentivize you to eat well, and we're going to incentivize you to exercise. And I want all you Americans out there, we're going to take this opportunity, since you're not working and we're killing the economy anyway. We're going to give you money to go exercise and stop smoking. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to eat well, and we're going to take some of these billions of dollars, and we're going to fund and subsidize organic foods, and we're going to really knuckle down. We're going to come out strong out of this thing. Man, all we talked about is how can we get a vaccine? What about ventilators? We got to keep our hospitals open. All we're talking about is reactive care. What happened to the offense? What happened to the proactive care? So it's like, oh man, we missed such an opportunity. So there's a bunch of different ways we could go there. And I guess I got side railed right there, but
no, I don't think you got side railed. You're speaking truth. And truth needs to be spoken about. You're so right. And it's funny, I've been focusing on my immune system, and you have to, and of course, working out and stuff like that. And the thing here is, you and I were talking about our words. We have 2 types of roads we can go: fear, or we're going to do something about it. And it's interesting, as you were talking about, that we're not coming up with the solutions and stuff like that. It's so true. It's like, okay, throw a pill at it. Just throw a pill at it and don't worry about how we can solve it, And I love what you're saying. I wish more people would speak up about that. But the sad part is, there's a lot of people that believe what you just said, but just don't have the cojones to say it, because they're living in fear. I'm afraid this is going to happen. But I love how you said that. Now, my friends, get this book. You can go to reversingneuropathy.com. Real simple. You can get it there, I believe. And check out his YouTube channel. You can just type in Dr. Brian Prax. It should pop up right in YouTube. Not only that, but we have everything here on the right down below. But if there's one concern that I would like to say, my friends, if you're on the fence per se, or you're like, I've tried that, I've done that, you haven't. Because Dr. Prax is living proof that he can help you reverse this. So again, I want to say thank you so much, Dr. Prax, for sharing your passion, your book, and I believe you have a second book coming out, right?
Actually, that's what I was saying earlier off the air is that I'm doing edition 2. So I'm going back and I'm looking through, I'm rereading, and it's been 2 years, and you know, we change. I mean, if we don't change and continually strive to improve, and we get stuck in a model where we're at, then well, we're stuck in a model where we're at. So I'm going through, and just like you, I have a bunch of tags on here. I'm highlighting areas like I kind of think a little differently. I think I could do better. I could say that differently. So I'm going through and I'm creating edition number 2. So it'll be the same title, probably the same cover and all that. It'll just be new and improved.
I love it. I love it. And again, I want to say thank you so much for being on our show. Everyone, make sure that you share this video. If you don't have neuropathy, what do? You share the video. Why? Because there's somebody that you can help on your channel. And remember, one video can change one person's life. Guys, I believe that Dr. Prax can help change your life. You can call the phone number on the screen. And I believe he also does consultations also on Zoom or also on the phone.
Sure.
And so we're ready. He's ready. Again, thank you so much, Doctor, for being on the show. And thank you, everyone. Share it. God bless you.